everyone, and welcome to Law Times and today's new episode of Legal Talks. Today we are diving into one of the most crucial topics of this digital world, that is cybersecurity and its growing connection with cybercrime. As we navigate our lives online, the importance of safeguarding our data and identity has been crucial more than ever. For many reasons, the cyber threats are evolving and the thin line between the virtual and the physical security is being blurred. To share more light on this crucial topic, we are honored to have with us Mr. Tanmay Roy, Assistant Professor of Law, Indian Institute of Legal Studies, who will help us to understand the topic and the preventive measures, challenges, and the evolving landscape of cybercrime and how to stay protected. We welcome you, sir, to the channel. Firstly, we want to ask you, sir, what is the basic overview of cybercrime and what constitutes cybercrime in today's world?
Thank you for the question. So before delving on to defining what cybercrime means, we firstly need to analyze and understand what the cyberspace actually means, because cybercrime is such thing which takes place in a cyberspace. Now, coming to the definition of the term cyberspace term was coined by William Gibson in the year 1982, and he used this term in his particular novel called The Neuromancer, wherein he described this term cyberspace, and he described cyberspace as a world wherein it is a creation of a computer network in a world filled with people who are artificially intelligent human beings. Now, coming to the layman's definition of the term cyberspace. So cyberspace, whenever we go on to define what cyberspace actually means, cyberspace literally means that it is a complex interaction of network wherein individuals, people, software and the devices, certain services, they are working in an interconnection on a internet platform, or better to place it in a layman's term, in a virtual platform. Now coming to the definition of the term cybercrime. So cybercrime in today's world literally means that with the usage of certain computer technologies or certain digital services or even the internet, people are using these particular means to approach or adopt certain illegal methods wherein their end goal is to gain either profit, which can be monetary, or personal gains from the other individual on whose computer network they are gaining unauthorized access. Now, when defining the term cybercrime, we basically keep four main issues in mind. First is of hacking, which is unauthorized access to somebody else's computer network. Now, second issue is that of phishing. Now, phishing, if we try to define what is phishing, it also sounds familiar to the term fishing in a pond. So in the physical world, we fish in a pond with the help of a fishing rod. Here we use a artificial bait to catch the fish. But whenever we define phishing, which starts with a PH, which is PHISHING, here phishing literally means that in a virtual space, we are using the same fishing rod to attract certain individuals who are there in the virtual world, wherein we are using our own original identity as a bait to allure them in order to accept certain things which is true. Basic examples of phishing can be scam calls or fraudulent messages that people receive, that they have obtained certain like lottery system, they have gained certain lotteries. So these scam calls are a method of using the technique of phishing. Now nextly, when we come to define one other cybercrime, which is ransomware. So ransomware, it is the usage of a malware wherein it also is the same as that of kidnapping, but this kidnapping takes place in a virtual platform. So kidnapping in real life means that a particular child, he has been abducted, he has been kidnapped by an individual, and in return of that particular child who has been so kidnapped, the individual asks for a ransom amount. So here, if we go into the virtual world, ransomware is also one certain application wherein with the usage of malware, your data is being caught off. The individuals who are using ransomwares, they are gaining your data, they are breaching your computer networks, they are hacking into your data, and they are keeping it with themselves, wherein after this data is kept with them, you cannot access this data. And in return of this data, they ask for a ransom amount, when if you don't pay them this amount, this particular amount, they won't return your data to you. Now defining the last type of, which is the mostly resorted to method of approaching a cyber crime or carrying out a cyber crime, it is through cyber stalking or cyber bullying. It is now, this particular practice is very much prevalent with our youngsters of our country. It is very much prevalent in India, wherein these youngsters, they bully certain other individuals in a cyberspace by gaining access to their computer networks and using their data through breaching their particular computer access.
Now, as we have understood what is cybercrime, sir, can you please explain us how cybercrime and cybersecurity are closely related? And could you please explain how cybersecurity measures can help to mitigate the rising threats of cybercrime?
So, when we are talking about the term cybersecurity and cybercrime are interrelated to each other, because cybersecurity is an antithesis of the notion of cybercrime. Whenever we want to protect ourselves or our computer network from cybercrime, we would approach certain cybersecurity measures. So, cybersecurity measures can be any sort of measures that you adopt in order to protect your data, your computer network, or your devices from being hacked into or being taken over by another individual who is not having an authorized access to your personal data or your personal device. Now, coming back to certain methods which are approached to when we are talking about the notion of cybersecurity, first such cybersecurity measure is by the usage of firewall and intrusion detection system, which is IDS. So these act as a barrier. It acts as an additional barrier from an unauthorized access to your computer network, and these stop or prevent certain applications from getting access to your data which is stored on your personal computer or your personal devices. Now the second method is that of encryption. So encryption basically means that you are protecting your sensitive information with yourself by encrypting the data, wherein you are adding a additional security measure in order to protect your data from a breach, which can be breached by any sort of or any form of unauthorized access to your computer system. Now the third type of cyber security measure that we talk about is by spreading public awareness, because cyber security measures can only be taken when the public is aware about these particular notions. When the public at large, they do not know about how to cope up with these situations, they are not aware about how to tackle these situations, they will not be able to cope up with the situation given that they are facing a threat. So these particular measures, called the cyber security measures, can be taken up in order to tackle the problematic situations caused by cyber crimes in today's world.
Sir, as you have explained the different types of cybercrime, now can you please explain how hacking remains one of the most prevalent form of cybercrime, and what are the different types of hacking and how they impact the cybersecurity?
So when defining the term hacking, we basically mean that unauthorized access to somebody else's computer system or computer network by an individual who is an intruder or not the original owner of that particular computer system or data. So hacking can be of basically four types. The first type of hacking is white hat hacking. So white hat hackers, they are technically ethical hackers. What they do is that they will seek permission from the original owner of that particular computer system or the network, digital network. They will access your computer network by seeking your permission, and after accessing your personal computer network, what they will do is that they will see that actually whether your computer network is having certain vulnerabilities or not, and they will try to highlight or showcase what those vulnerabilities are to the actual owner of that particular computer network, and they will try to help these particular individuals who are the actual owner of that computer system tackle with these situations which can be caused and how to deal with these vulnerabilities. Now coming back to the second type of hacking, it is known as black hat hacking. These are not ethical hackers. They do the task of hacking just in order to gain certain monetary profit from you or personal gains from the person. So here, black hat hacking, in the notion of black hat hacking, these individuals, they are very trained professionals when it comes to hacking. They will unauthorized, they will access your computer data system without your authorization. You will not authorize them. And in return of your data or in return of your computer network, what they will seek is that certain monetary gains out of it. Or they will blackmail you. They will approach certain blackmailing methods. Now coming to the third form of hacking, which is known as grey hat hacking. So grey hat hackers, they are technically falling in the middle situation of both the white hat hackers as well as the black hat hackers. Now what the grey hat hackers are? These grey hat hackers, they will not seek permission from you to access your digital database. What they will do is that without your permission, they will access your computer network, but they will point out the vulnerabilities to you, and they do not seek any monetary profit. What they will do in return is that they will approach you by stating that we can sort out or we can help you tackle these situation or these vulnerabilities by us helping you out. Technically, they will be guiding you, or they will be what you can say, they will be solving your vulnerabilities, issues with vulnerabilities, and they will not seek any high monetary value, but they will seek certain fees for solving those issues. Now comes the last form of hacking, which is known as script kiddies. Now, as the term script kiddies itself means, kiddies, why is it used? Kiddies, it is used because this particular method is mostly used by the youngsters, the kids, who are not having any knowledge about the computer system. They are not well built or well trained professional hackers. They don't know anything about the computer system. What they will do is that they will approach using certain softwares in order to gain access or in order to learn how to hack. They will give permission to these softwares to hack into some other individuals' computers. Now, when does script kiddies become a troublesome issue? When these script kiddies, what they do is that they approach certain methods of cyberbullying. What they do, they approach cyber stalking of individuals. They start blackmailing the individuals from whom they have collected these data. So these are the various forms of hacking that we have in our present day society. Now hacking is a very serious issue because they are having A to Z access to your computer network, and they can manipulate your data and they can restrict your data from getting accessed by you. So this is why hacking is one of the major cyber crimes in today's world.
What are the common most issues in the security that the hackers exploit, and how can an individual and organization strengthen their defense, sir?
So the most common vulnerabilities that the hackers often exploit out of the individuals is that, first of all, the individuals often use weak passwords. And now with the usage of weak passwords, it is very easy or vulnerable to hacking. Second is, you are using outdated software. If you use an outdated software which is not performing its level best to the present day scenario, it is mostly likely to be hacked by an individual. Now the third is unencrypted data. So if you don't encrypt your data on any of the given platforms, your data is most likely to be stolen by an individual through a data breach. And lastly, what we know is the most important ground wherein these individual hackers, they exploit the vulnerabilities, is that when these individuals, the computer system owners, they don't have proper firewall, or they don't have any form of proper antivirus measures or antivirus softwares which can restrain or restrict the unauthorized access of an individual to your computer database system. So these are the mostly exploited, what you can say, these are the loopholes that the hackers often appoint in order to hack into your computer system. So you need to be very careful and mindful of all these particular things before you give permission. Now, one of the most important aspects that we have in today's world is that we should not give access to each and every single thing or we should not give permission to each and every single software without properly going through the terms and conditions of that particular software. So that is why it is up to your responsibility that you have to secure your own data and restrict these particular hackers from exploiting your data.
Cyber criminals often use multimedia and MMS to blackmail the individuals. So, sir, how can cyber security be used to prevent such kind of contents being accessed or misused?
So, in order to tackle the situation with regards to MMS and blackmailing, what the individuals can adopt is that in order to restrict or prevent these unauthorized access to their MMS or any such data sensitive information, what they can do is, first of all, they can approach the end-to-end encryption method, wherein they can share their information on a platform which only provides for end-to-end encryption, wherein the data can only be accessed by the sender and the recipient, not any other individual. The intruders cannot gain access to that particular form of data. Now, the second form would be through cloud storage units. What you can do as an individual is that you can avoid storing your data on unsecured cloud storages. You can go for cloud storage platforms which provide for greater security measures, that have more passwords, and their passwords are very strong in nature. Now, another manner in which the individuals can tackle the issues with regards to MMS leakage or blackmailing through the usage of MMS can be regular auditing of your information. You can regularly, on a day-to-day basis, check that your data is secured, and you can also go for fingerprint security measures, wherein you are either using fingerprint technology, wherein your data can be accessed through your fingerprint only, and secondly, two key factor authentication stage you can adopt, wherein your data is secure with you, because in order to gain access to that particular form of data, you need to have access to these two keys in order for you to get what you can say access to these particular form of data. So these are the methods in which you can protect yourself from getting blackmailed through these MMS scandals.
So, sir, furthermore, when someone is blackmailed through some explicit content or MMS, what legal resources do they have, and what role does the cybersecurity plays in tracing all those kind of criminal activities?
So, in order for you to tackle this situation with regards to these particular forms of cyber crimes, the first thing that you can do is that you can directly report to the law enforcement agencies, wherein you can directly go to the cyber security branch of these particular jurisdictions, and you can directly file a complaint or register a complaint with them, either with the cyber security branch, or you can directly file a complaint with that of the police. Now, second method comes in through cyber security measures, and here the role of cyber security comes into play. Now, how does cyber security help one individual in getting to know who the real person, finding out who the real culprit is? So it is through IP tracking and data forensics, wherein we are able to highlight, or we are able to find out who the real culprit of that particular case is, who has actually breached our network and is having access to our unauthorized network, and he is having an access to our data. Now, the third part can be dealt with, and it has beautifully been highlighted under the Information and Technology Act, which is this act. Alright, so here under this particular enactment, under section 66E, which talks about violation of privacy, and section 67, which is publishing of obscene material through electronic method. Alright, so these particular provisions, they punish these offenses if these offenses are carried on by any individual, by any electronic means whatsoever. So the Information Technology Act, which was enacted in the year 2000, it is the main enactment which works in this particular field, and which ensures that the culprits behind these offenses are punished actually.
Sir, there have been instances of cyber criminal using deepfake technology to create the damaging or any kind of fake videos. So how should cyber security framework evolve to deal with all this kind of emerging threats And how can individuals protect themselves from having their private data or multimedia content stolen or shared without their consent?
This is a very good question, and it needs to be highlighted in the present day scenario, because our Information and Technology Act, unfortunately, it does not cover to its truest sense the deepfake technology. Now, what is meant by the deepfake technology? So it usually happens with the celebrities, wherein with the usage of AI, which is artificial intelligence, certain videos are constructed wherein we are unable to actually find out whether that video is actually correct or not, whether that particular entity which is there present in that particular video is actually true or not. So we are unable to differentiate between whether that video was actually shot or not. This is what deepfake videos does, and the same can be done with an individual, wherein with the usage of AI, certain videos are being created and these videos are circulated in order to defame a certain individual. So deepfake technologies, in order to counter this particular problem of deepfake technologies, what we can do is, as AI is the platform which creates these technologies, we can counter these technologies with AI itself. We can leverage AI in order to find out that whether these videos are true or not. Wherein actually what deepfake technologies, the main problem with the deepfake technologies is that there is a time difference between the audio and video connection. So with the usage of AI, we can find it out properly. Now, second method can be through cloud storage. Here, cloud storage does not mean that we have to authorize a cloud storage platform wherein there is a proper security mentioned, or where the cloud storage platforms, they provide us with proper security measures. But we also have to ensure that there are biometric features involved, because it is without your biometric that particular data or that particular information cannot be accessed to. So with that, you can, like, by storing these multimedia files, which are videos, short videos, your personal videos, your photographs, these can be stored on these cloud storage units, wherein with the help of biometrics you are securing that particular platform. Now lastly, how you can secure yourself against these deepfake videos is that you can stop giving access to all these unauthorized applications into your storage. Often what we do is that we download certain applications from Google Store, App Store, Play Store, iStore, whatever the platform is, and we give permission to all those apps to gain access to our storage. But this should not be the case. You should read the terms and conditions properly, and you should give access to your storage units to only those reputed websites or those verified and authenticated websites which you can trust upon. So with that, you can counter the deepfake technology which is there in present day scenario.
So, sir, moving on, we have seen the creation of fake accounts for the purpose of harassment and identity theft is going concern. How can cybersecurity tools help in detecting and preventing all this type of creation of the fake accounts, and what are the measures that are taken by the social media platform to implement and to strengthen their cybersecurity and prevent the misuse of these fake accounts?
So in order to answer this question as to how we can detect whether an account is actually authentic or not, as I said earlier also, that AI in today's world has developed to such an extent wherein we can not only manipulate this particular form of technology to get something out of it, but we can also find out who is the one misusing this form of technology. So with the help of AI, what we can do is that we can detect the fraud activities. AI helps in detecting fraudulent activities, wherein it particularly highlights and it observes these particular forms of patterns which is behind the creation of these accounts. So what the AI will do here is that AI will highlight that whether there is such a pattern adopted by the individual that he is creating numerous such accounts, or any form of such similar form of behavior which can be tracked down by the AI, which will help us in getting to know whether this account is authentic or not. Now the second form can be through verification, which is badge verification. Now in today's world, what we see is that the technology has advanced so much that today we have to verify whether this account is ours or not through photo verification or through verification of our authentic, what you can say, unique identification number. So with the help of these badge verifications, what we can do is we can find out whether the account which is there, it is actually authentic or not. Now the next procedure through which we can find out that whether an account is actually legitimate or not is through two-factor authentication. Herein what we do is that we provide an alternative number to each and every single of our original account which is created by us, so that we can prevent this account from getting hacked into and getting misused by. Now one such problem that we see in today's generation is that today's generation, whether we like it or not, they mostly are attracted by games, and games in particular we refer to PUBG or BGMI. What we see is that during the Instagram ads also, the individual, the youngsters, what they will get is that they will see certain ads wherein certain UCs or certain skins of their games are being sold off to these individuals free of cost. But in actual sense, this is a scam. Now, if these youngsters, they click on these particular ads, what they will go through is that their IDs will get accessed by other individuals, because these games, PUBG, whether be it PUBG or BGMI, they do not sell their personal data, or they do not need to advertise on any other social media accounts in order to sell their UCs or any form of cash. They don't involve themselves monetarily by going for ads. So here what these youngsters they do, they get scammed by these ads. So, and by getting scammed by these ads, what they, in the long run, what they do is that they are, what is done is that they are at the end of the day forfeiting their account, original account, which is their authentic account. So the youngsters need to be made aware that these fraudulent ads, they should not be involved with these fraudulent ads. They should not go for these fraudulent advertisements, so that they can secure their account. So it is through these methods, if the youngsters of today's world approach, they will be able to secure not only their data but also their private accounts.
So, sir, till now, as we have discussed, what is cybercrime, what are its different kinds, what is hacking, and what are the kinds of hacking, can you please explain the legal consequences for these offenses under Indian law and the remedies that is given to the victim?
Now, in order to highlight the aspects wherein what laws are covering these cyber crimes, we firstly need to know that the IT Act or the Information Technology Act 2000, it is the enactment which covers all these forms of cyber crimes. Now, I cannot highlight each and every single aspect of these cyber crimes, but I will try to highlight certain important cyber crimes which are there. Although the Information and Technology Act has precisely highlighted under its offences part contained in chapter 11 of the Information and Technology Act 2000, has highlighted and mentioned that what all punishments are being given if an individual is found guilty of committing these offences of cyber crimes. So I will be covering three important aspects. Now coming to the first aspect, it is the aspect of hacking. So hacking under the Information Technology Act 2000 has been covered under section 66 read with section 43 of the enactment. Herein, if any individual gets an unauthorized access to somebody else's computer or somebody else's computer network or any database, he shall be punished. He shall be punished, wherein his punishment shall be extendable up to 3 years, and a fine of 5 lakh rupees shall be imposed upon him, or he can be punished with both these things. Now the second form of such cybercrime is blackmailing through explicit content of an individual. Now for covering this aspect, the Information Technology Act has covered this part into two particular provisions. The first provision is contained under section 66E, wherein it talks about right to privacy of an individual. Here, if any individual is found breaching the privacy of another individual through electronic means, wherein he is capturing any form of video or any he's shooting taking any pictures of an individual, and he is found to be circulating that picture, he can be punished. He can get an imprisonment of up to 3 years, and he can get a fine of up to 2 lakh rupees. Now, for covering the second aspect, which has been covered under the provision section 67 of the Information Technology Act. Herein, the act which is punished is that if you are spreading or if you are circulating certain explicit contents that you have gained access to or that you have made out of an individual. So here, if you are found guilty of this particular offense, your punishment can be 3 years of imprisonment at max and a fine of 5 lakh rupees. And here's another catch in this particular provision. If you are found to be an habitual offender who is convicted of these offenses, you shall be punished for an imprisonment which is extendable up to 5 years. 5 years of imprisonment you will get alongside a fine of 10 lakh rupees. So with this, the aspect of blackmail with obscene materials is covered under the Information and Technology Act. The third and the last aspect, which is of utmost importance in the world of cyber crimes, it is through cheating by impersonation and identity theft. Now, these aspects have been covered under 2 sections. First is section 66C, which talks about identity theft. Here, if you are found to be deceiving any person by stating that you are copying the identity of some other individual and you are stating that it is your own original identity, you can be punished with an imprisonment of 3 years and a fine of 1 lakh rupees. Now, the second part, which talks about cheating by impersonation. So here, now first question that will come into your mind is, how is cheating by impersonation done? So you guys must be aware of certain advertisements like KBC ads that you have won a lottery of 5 lakh rupees, 10 crore rupees, wherein the individuals, they are impersonating themselves to be Amitabh Bachchan, who are giving you the lottery tickets, who are giving you the prize money. But in return, you just have to pay them an amount of 25,000 rupees. And that amount is for their transactional fees. But at the end of the day, you will be the one who will be cheated upon. So this offense has been highlighted under the Information Technology Act under the provision 66D. Here, if any individual is found impersonating some other individual and stating that identity to be his own original identity, he can be punished with an imprisonment of 3 years and a fine which can be extended up to 1 lakh rupees. So in these manners, the issues of cybercrime has been highlighted under our Information Technology Act 2000. So for the victims who are facing these cyber crimes, in India, what they can do is that they can register a complaint directly under the National Cyber Crime Reporting Portal, or they can directly approach the police station, respective police station within which the crime has been committed, and they can directly report to the police station.
Sir, how effective you think that the current cyber crimes laws are in India, and how they are helpful in deterring the hackers? And are there any gaps in the legal framework that needs to be fulfilled? And is there any advice you would like to give to someone who are suspected that their accounts have been hacked?
So I personally believe that while all these laws, the Information Technology Act, it covers and provides for stricter punishments and it imposes penalties also to these cyber criminals. But what I actually want to state is that how the society can evolve with regards to dealing with the cyber security measures or cyber crime in particular. The society should be made aware about these laws. There should be public awareness about these particular cyber crimes that are occurring in the society. so that people are aware how to cope up with the situation and what legal mechanisms they have to tackle these situations. Now, the Information Technology Act, it imposes stricter punishments. It imposes fines, penalties to these offenders. But it is failing at present day. It is unable to answer the question with regards to the threats that are being brought by deepfake technology as well as cyber stalking. The laws are not in its total sense covering these particular aspects. At the same time, we see that cryptocurrency scams are one such things which are not being covered under the Information Technology Act, which should be involved or included within these enactment, so that the culprits who are performing these offenses, these new digital offenses, they are also punished under the present day law. Now, one advice that I would like to give to the suspects or the victims who feel that their account is being hacked into or their data is being breached by some other individual, what they can do is, firstly, they can go to the law enforcement bodies, or they can directly complain to the portal from where their data has been breached into. For example, if your Facebook account gets hacked, you directly file a complaint with Facebook. Or if somebody is using your identity, that individual is stealing your identity, what you can do is you can directly report to the police station and file a case for identity theft. Now, second thing that the victims can do is that they can change their passwords as soon as they get a hold of their IDs. Now, what this will do is that as soon as the passwords gets changed, the hacker will have to fight for that ID to get it back. Now, if you change your passwords altogether very quickly, you will also approach the two-factor authentication process, wherein your data will be protected by these security measures and you will be protecting it via double security measure. Now, the third and the last thing that you can do, if you are facing, if an individual have been made a victim of these particular cyber crime, what they can do is that they can, from time to time, they can audit their reports as in the passwords. From month to month, you need to change your passwords and you need to adopt certain passwords which are strong in nature. So here, for example, for the passwords, even there are certain prompts which state that your password should be an intermix of uppercase letters, lowercase letters, and alphanumerical letters. So with that, what happens is that if you keep this particular form of password, your ID and your password is kept safe and nobody is able to infringe upon your private information. Nobody can get access to your private information. So in this, by following these particular methods, I honestly believe that the victims of these cyber crimes, they can protect themselves to an extent from getting any harm being caused to themselves from these cyber crimes or these cyber criminals.
This brings us to the end of today's episode and discussion on the cybersecurity and its relation to cybercrime. We hope this conversation has provided you the valuable insight in the evolving threats in the digital era, and this will help you to protect yourself in a better way. A big thank you to our guest for sharing his expertise with us today, to our viewers for tuning into our channel. Please stay connected, stay tuned with our channels to get such more legal updates. Till then, please do like, share, comment and subscribe our channel.